Hey everyone, welcome to another Eat the Magic live stream thing that we do occasionally.
Yeah, this time we're going to be talking about food that you can enjoy at the Star Wars Hotel, aka the Galactic Starcruiser. You know, the one that everyone is booking, but reservations are dropping after that one commercial aired. I can't talk right now.
This
Oh,
episode's only for our
goodness.
rich fans, and all our poor fans should just leave now, I guess. The one thing I will say before we make any more jokes about anything is that Galaxy's Edge actually has some decent food. I've done a few reviews of it, and outside of a few things, like I don't like the green or blue milk, they're both terrible. But um, the green's kind of. No, it's the blue is kind of okay-ish, right?
Blue's okay, and I think you said the green was like drinking haichu.
Yeah, it's a little
And the
nasty.
Toydarian swirl can go to a very bad place featured in Mr. Toad's Wild Ride.
Yeah, I'd point out that that made me so sick I had to leave the park. And I meant to stop by City Hall to complain, and I actually didn't even do that. I
He
just
was
was,
literally passed out in a car, just like,
yeah. So, not a great experience with that, but the popcorn I like, the Ronto wraps are great. Most of what I've had at Docking Bay 94 or whatever is pretty good.
yeah, I generally like it was like the roast beef and the mushroom pasta. That's usually my go to if I just want something just really filling. And I like the moof juice, as funky as it sounds. She got my
I,
moof juice.
yeah, they need, what's the fruit they kept getting off of Lethal? The Maluron, or whatever it's called.
They do have a Maluron themed drink. I don't think we've had
Let me
that
have that
yet.
because that's the fruit they kept talking about on Lothal and the Rebels TV series. I have not gone to the bar. I have been warned against it by multiple people.
I know the
So
bar doesn't really appeal to me. Like, yes, I know Rex from Star Tours is there as the DJ, but like, I can kind of pass on it because, like, yeah, sometimes you'll find, even though you've made a reservation, you'll be standing up, like, nah, not interested.
yeah, place is always crowded, and I've heard very negative about the drinks.
And when it comes
So
to drinks, at least at Disneyland Resort, they tend to water them down.
mm-hmm.
So even though I don't really drink at the Disneyland park here, because hi, I'm designated driver number one. Um, just from past experience, when we did have a designated driver, um, I just didn't care much for the drinks because they just really ice and water it down a lot. Except in Florida, because Florida, like, yeah, you taste that moonshine.
Yeah, the Sunshine Day Bar is amazing. I would say that the drinks over in DCA are a little bit better in that regard. The stuff I've had from Pim Kitchen is pretty decent,
Yeah, Kitchen's not too bad.
especially whatever one it is that tastes like college. And
That's the
then
Honey Buzz.
Honey Buzz, yeah, just
I like
tastes
the
like
Honey
college.
Buzz.
That was specifically my review. And Lamplight Lounge is actually pretty decent as well in
Yeah,
that regard.
they had a what was it? Um, they had a drink I really liked at Lamplight Lounge. It was like this breakfast drink. It was like a cinnamon toast crunch themed alcoholic beverage. I really like that, and we had that when we were there for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and I had a beer mosa, which I have now since made at home because why would I not?
And we have someone in chat, Hot and Spicy 3. I wish the world could see what's going on out here because it's getting ridiculous. Yeah. All right, without any further ado, let's talk about the food at Galactic
Yeah,
Star Cruiser.
I like
And
the fact that I'd rather talk about anything else, so I did. And now here we are.
here we
The
are at
actual
Galactic
topic.
Star Cruiser. What can we eat here? Not that we're thinking about booking reservations at Galactic Star Cruiser anytime soon. I mean, like $6,000 for 2 nights with a very strict itinerary. No, thank you. I'd rather spend 2.5 grand over at Port Orleans, where I can also get my tickets and have a free roaming schedule and have all the beignets I want for the most part.
And I'd rather use that money to go to Japan and go to like Disney Seas and USJ.
All right, so here's concept art of the captain's table where you can dine with the captain
For
as
enough fee.
pictured right here. And Neenum!
Because we're
And
just
a
going to throw
Twi'lek!
some characters in there. Just
Yes, throw in some aliens
I-
to make it feel...
I would hope they would have some of the cast members as just random alien passengers. I think this is just for artwork reasons, but I think it would be at least give you a little extra Star Wars for your buck. However, for those who don't know, the captain's table is an upcharge. Otherwise, you're just at the standard like cafeteria type tables they have.
Yeah, let's just kind of see what we got here as far as food goes. Recently, Disney released something information about what dining on the Halcyon will be like. So the Halcyon is the name of the Galactic Starcruiser. Let's start with breakfast. Breakfast aboard the Star Wars Hotel will be served at the Crown of Corellia dining room. Corellia. Disney has shared that you will be able to help yourself to colorful fare all over the galaxy, along with familiar favorites from your home planet, because Earth is canonical to Star Wars.
Apparently it is. Also, the only time we've seen Corellia in like the movies or in any of the TV shows, it always looks like a scummy, dirty town. Like it always looks like everything is the slums. There is no rich district. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd name a place after because it's like, oh, this is our Detroit lounge. You're like, you want to try that name again? Like, I get if it's the Alderaan Lounge. You're like, Alderaan's supposed to be beautiful. Naboo Lounge. Naboo is very pretty. We've seen it. There's pretty planets out there. We don't need to name it after, like, the one we're, best known for a smuggler. And Wedge Antilles is also from Corellia.
Yeah, so it looks like you have, like, the regular tables here. Again, this is concept art because concept art versus the actuality.
God forbid we see the actual thing.
Yeah, they haven't shown photos of what the actual like dining area looks like, but this is concept art. But just historically, what we've seen in the past couple of days, what Disney's been releasing, what it actually looks like, it's like, okay.
Yeah, if the stuff we saw in the video is real, this place looks like they cut the budget by a huge amount. And the concept art doesn't look too bad. I think we can all agree on that like when we see the dining tables and stuff like that, it looks really nice. It looks like what you would expect from a high-class cruise liner.
Let's see. Breakfast will feature hot and cold small plates and a variety of beverages, including juices, coffee, blue milk, of course. Yeah, of course, you got to throw in the blue milk there.
Coffee should be called calf.
Calf.
Okay. That's what they call it in the books.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like, that's how Heir to the Empire opens up. Like, hey, Luke is drinking hot cocoa.
Yeah, Luke's drinking hot cocoa. It was introduced to him by Lando, I believe. And then, like, Leia is, like, groggy and needs a cup of calf. It's great.
If you haven't read Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn, do it right now. Or after you watch this video.
And after you watch the video, come on.
Mm-hmm. All right, during lunch, guests can pick up some small bites like sandwiches, soups, mini flatbreads, salads, and sweets. Both breakfast and lunch will be served as buffets. They will feature small individualized plates, ensuring perfect presentation. So you have like the tiny plates here.
You grab the tiny plate and put it on your tray.
Your tray.
Wait, so I don't remember the word tray. That's fine. I've been to buffets that have done stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's actually a little more helpful rather than just the random grabbing of stuff. And I think it's their way of being able to make sure they make just enough. Because if you don't want to have a bunch of extra food, you're going to throw away because you don't have,
Yeah, here you look kind of like you have like an orange chicken type thing. You got some salad and fruit bowls right here. This looks like something with pesto on it.
My theory, and we've seen some of the other food pictures already, my theory is 90% of the food is going to be something you've had before with a space name. So the orange chicken will be called like,
Naboo
Bespin. Yeah, Bespin.
Gungan Nuggets.
Gungan Nuggets, yeah, something like that. Bespin spare ribs. Something along those lines. You're like, okay, I have a vague idea of what this is, and I know what food looks like. And they just put a space name in front of it.
Hey, if you go to chat, do they have Star Wars Rebels themed food and drink? Oh, I wish. I love Star Wars Rebels. We're huge Rebels fans.
The closest thing you're going to get is the Meilu Run juice they have.
Because they have that over Galaxy's Edge. I haven't had that, but curious.
But yeah, there's not a lot that relates back to that because they try to keep everything in the new trilogy era, which kind of a mistake in my opinion. But hey, that's my opinion. You don't have to hate me for it. And I kind of wish we were down with hanging out with Ezra and Kanan and stuff, or hanging out with the Mandalorian and his buddies. I think that would be a lot more fun for me. And heck, I'm even a fan of the Clone Wars cartoon. I wouldn't mind to be hanging out with Ahsoka Tano and Anakin Skywalker myself. So. Yeah,
smaller plates also reduces food and waste, as said in the chat.
Yeah, I was trying to point out that like it would be less waste and
Yeah, I always like just getting things in small portions because
it's a lot easier to eat like because you if you go and grab it onto your plate, sometimes you're not even thinking, you're feeling hungry at the moment and you overload your plate versus like, all right, I'll grab these 2 or 3 things and I'll come back for a couple more things later. And then you eat those 2 or 3 things. You go, I can fit maybe 1 or 2 more. And then.
Or you get like a handful of things and you just realize this ain't it, bro. As we learn with the meatballs at Knott's.
Oh, those were rough.
That was rough.
That hurt too because the meatballs were usually good. And those meatballs were, I don't know what happened to those, but oof.
Okay, recently Disney also shared some look at the new dishes coming to this hotel. So we got here a bubble waffle grilled cheese with a tomato bisque on the side. Okay, I can't complain about that. I do like me some tomato bisque and a thing to dip it in.
Yeah, sandwich and tomato bisque is kind of a standard kind of thing. It's not my thing. I'm not a big fan of tomato soups, but it's my family's like rainy day food is tomato soup and grilled cheese sandwiches. Except for me, where they give me a clam chowder or something else, because I don't really like tomato soup.
I like tomato soup, just put some cheese in there and I'm happy.
But I'm sure they could give it like a space name. It'll be called like, Mustafar soup with, Tannoui special sandwich or something. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, see, thanks. But it's just a grilled cheese with tomato soup. It's a grilled cheese with tomato soup.
Yeah, I would say this dish here looks like a bruschetta because I see like tomatoes. It looks like a flatbread type thing, and there's like
I saw that
some fruit on the
pictures.
side.
It's a little bruschetta kind of thing. It's fine.
Looks like a piece of fish right here of a meat of sorts with some garnish. Okay, I'd be okay with this. Okay. It's our understanding that dinner on the first night will be a supper-style occasion with a performance to watch while you eat.
And that's probably Singing Lady from...
Yeah, Singing Lady from the video, Gaia.
I could skip.
Every time I think of the name Gaia, I think of Whoopi Goldberg's character. Not Whoopi Goldberg's character. Is it?
She
was Gaia in
Captain Planet.
Yeah, so I was thinking that because I'm like, my brain, because we're talking about Galactic Starcruiser, I'm thinking Whoopi Goldberg in Star Trek. It's like my brain is all over the place. It's sci-fi.
I need a more like Star Wars-y name. Her name should be something like Stagra Galverga. And you're like, oh, cool, Stalga Galverga. I remember her from nothing.
Or like if any of 2000s babies are in the chat or watching, when I think of Gaia, I think of that one cesspool of a website. The less we say about it, the better.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So let's see. Disney has shared dinner on the second night of the experience will be served of a mixture of family-style service and regular plate items in the taste around the Galaxy Showcase. The website specifies that it will include group appetizers for the table, a choice of entree, and specially plated dessert.
It's not too bad. I mean, it sounds like you're getting quite a bit of food here. Smaller portion things, but at least if like the buffet and stuff, it sounds like you can kind of eat whatever you'd like. The breakfast, is going to be your hearty, normal. Everything's going to be like Earth food, given a Star Wars name. Though some of the pictures, you look at some of the things, you go, okay, that's your way too fancy, or as I like to say, putting the D in the food, which Disney likes to do a lot, which is what the D stands for. It stands for Disney and not anything else. If you thought it stood for something else, you're completely wrong. And I always say, whenever they do something weird, stop sticking your D in the food. Just make the good food.
All right.
So it doesn't look like there's a lot of things that feel like they're in that category. It looks like it's going to be a lot of naming conventions. Just like if you go to, Batu, it's going to be called the Tip Yip Blobadid Boop, but like it's basically just fried chicken and mashed potatoes with green gravy. And it looks like that's what we're getting here. Is just that like, it's like a fish with some sort of sauce, but we made the sauce blue or whatever. And we're going to call it a such and such fish that, they're native to Mon Cala. And you're like, all right, cool. So this is the food of Admiral Akbar. Cool, I'm down.
All right. In the chat, we got Yoda yogurt. Let's see what I did there. Well, it's better than Dagobah ramen, which was just basically Costco ramen that you put hot water on top of. That was served for $15 during Star Wars night.
Yeah.
Yoda yogurt.
And the sad
I'm waiting for like Boba Pearl drinks. But that's just me.
They're going to do that eventually. Mm-hmm. They'll find a way to make that work. It'll be called like a Mandalorian tea with, whatever, soldier bubbles or something. And those soldier bubbles. So it's like, okay, yeah, we get it. It's your Boba Fett drink. They've had some weird choices at the parks before. But then I know you used to like the Tour of Endor.
Yes, the tour of Endor, it was served at Alien Pizza Planet, not my favorite place in the world, but I did like the tour of Endor, which was like this vegetable pasta kind of mix of you had like your usual pasta noodles, but it loaded up on a bunch of vegetables, and I'm the type of person that likes to have like a lot of veggies with their pasta, and that kept me going for like all day just having like that nice mix right there. Like it had like sun-dried tomatoes, it had mushrooms, my favorites.
And I really feel that the real trick is just make normal good food and don't worry about. I mean, you want to add some food coloring into the sauce or what have you, sure. But honestly, I think the average person just wants, give them a rack of ribs and call them Nerf herder ribs or something, and people will be happy. They'll know what it is.
Also, in the chat, imagine a dinner themed after the dinner scene from Temple of Doom.
That would be great. Well, I was just thinking about all the weird things with alien food. I'm like, oh man, you know what this reminds me of? If you had dinner at the Collector's Palace, I have brought you Terran food. This is like, but like the wrong combination of stuff. It's like apple pie with chicken soup. We know humans eat these things. It's like, we do. That's not an entree though. You can have some fun with that, but it's like you can't really do that, human food kind of thing, because lots of humans from lots of different planets and all eat different kinds of foods. And it gets more difficult with like a Star Wars type thing. But the one thing I will say while looking over all this is it makes me realize they could have turned the Imagine or the Wonder Princess or whatever the heck all their boats are called. They could have turned one into the Star Wars boat.
Because they do actually have a Star Wars cruise.
Yeah. And if you did that, where it was just you're on a boat, and whether we're pretending we're sailing the seas of Mon Cala or what's the name of the planet that these clone people come from? It's right there on the edge of my brain. I hate myself tomorrow when I shout it out in the middle of like dinner.
I know what you're talking
Camino.
about. Yes.
So whether you're in Camino or something like that, and you're just pretending you're on their seas and you're eating, space food. And then you have a bunch of little games you can do on the boat, but then they have regular boat stuff you can do, like a swimming pool and...
And you don't have a schedule that is so strict.
It's so strict, yeah.
Because the thing with the Galactic Starcruiser is, like, everyone at the hotel is having dinner at the same time. They're having breakfast at the same time. So it's a lot like a tour cruise type of thing where everyone's on this strict schedule. I've done these before, IRL, and they're not for everyone. I mean, if you're like us who kind of tend to prefer like, yeah, let's just kind of like just make up our own plan. Let's just kind of like just take it as it goes. But this one is like, okay, you gotta like just be sold into just having a strict itinerary.
That you're paying a huge amount of money to do as well. And here's the thing is, this means you have to go with your friends with already the mentality of we're just going to get bossed around and dragged around this Star Wars movie that we get to walk around in the middle of. And hopefully it's not as cheap as it all looks in the videos. Versus if you went on the Star Wars cruise and you had a family member or a friend who was like, you go off and do your Jedi, whatever. I'm going to go to the casino or I'm going to go by the pool, or I'm going to go to the arcade and play, the Star Wars arcade game, and you would have more of those options, more of that freedom. And then at night you could have the Jedi Showdown where, whatever special Jedi we created for this ship is, I'm going to defend you guys from Darth Vader. Darth Vader, you won't win, or something. You could do something like that where then we just kind of, if you're going to go to the dinner show, you go to the dinner show, and otherwise just hit the buffet and, forget about it. And this is very much, it feels like, just I'm paying someone to boss me around for 2 days. And not really my thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, the experience is really not for everyone. So other food here, purple bread served with blue bantha milk butter.
There you go. They just changed the names of stuff. That is toast of butter.
And just a quote here, they hit the perfect balance of nailing space-like elements like bonito flakes that twitch and shrink as you eat. And blue milk butter served with purple bread. So, bonito flakes, when you have like the, when you have your, the octopus stuff you like, and how there's like flakes that are kind of still alive. I like that effect.
Flakes aren't really alive.
But they look like they're alive because because the heat is trying like just make them like.
Yeah, they're moving due to the evaporation of liquid from the heated thing. Yes. Like I said, you're paying for alternate color food.
This is also where you can try a very strange evolution-inspired blue shrimp. So, like, we were looking at this earlier on another stream. So they were slowly release a shrimp blue food coloring on this, like, smoky plate thing here.
Okay, so here's my thing as a person who does cooking and stuff like that. Adding coloring to meat and stuff like that always bothers me. It worries me to an extent that maybe you didn't cook it right. And it always kind of looks or smells weird. And, because you can do, like I said, doing it to the sauces, doing it to the butter. There's things like that are more liquidy, that it blends in perfectly and you're not going to notice. On things like this, it comes off a little weird. Like I said, the green gravy with the tip yip is perfectly fine. It's gravy, you just you dump the food coloring in, you stir it around for like, a minute, and boom, you have green gravy.
Because mentally, when I see like blue shrimp or shrimp that has not been red yet, I think of like, okay, is this undercooked? What's going on?
Yeah, and I said there's always a troubling sense. I know this is Disney, and they're not going to screw that up because they would get sued horribly if a bunch of people got food poisoning at the Star Wars hotel. At the same time, I don't know. There's something about it like always makes me go, I'm good.
All right, let's see what else they got here. There will also be a ceviche with a tentacled twist, including cornuts, spherical carrot pieces, calamari, and squid, and a pastry ball that is filled with curried chicken salad. Let's see, according to Bloomberg, the purple ube bread and curried chicken stuffed sandwich orbs provide more elegant than just the rations of our Jedi heroes consume on screen, skirting the line between intergalactic modernism and classic fine dining. This could very well prove to be Disney's world's best restaurant. Okay, how much you're getting paid, Bloomberg?
Yeah, really. Again, remember when I made that comment about don't stick your D in the food? That's doing that. Where I'm like, you're putting chicken curry inside a crusted. I'm sure it'd be fine because someone could say like, oh well, isn't just a takoyaki one of my favorite foods? Isn't it just, some squid with some goop inside of a fried shell?
And there's also curry bread, too, which I also enjoy.
Delicious curry pan. So there are options like there that are real food, and then there's the weird, we're going to do our own take on it, and that worries me. I've had, food from other cultures made at Disneyland, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's terrible. And I always get worried, especially when it comes down to Asian food, because we've had some very negative Asian food experiences at Disneyland. And World, for that matter. And yeah, so that's always going to put me into a worried state. I don't like that.
All right, let's go move on here. StarWars.com notes there will also be Mustafar-inspired bread service with nitrogen accents.
What?
Think about that one. Mustafar, the place where Jedi become memes and gifs.
Yeah, because when I think of places that would have fine cuisine, I think lava planets. The toast better be burned. What the heck?
Also, according to IGN, this is the first image we saw earlier. Also, the extraterrestrial salad, that is a normal salad with some strange-looking veggies mix, so I'm assuming it's this dish right here.
But see, if you have the right kind of cutter, you can cut a zucchini to look like weird stuff. You can cut a carrot to look like weird stuff. There's ways of taking normal, innocuous foods and turning them into weirdly shaped things, which I'm fine with. That's more of the cutting block creativity. And the cutting block creativity in my book is perfectly fine, because it doesn't screw up the flavor. It just gives you something that's like, oh, what's this weird thing? Oh, that's an eggplant. Oh, okay. That's kind of cool to cut it that way.
Okay.
Oh, that tastes like a mushroom. That probably is a mushroom that they cut weird.
All right. Also, we got the miso crusted salmon top with a mystery ingredient twisted and thrived on the plate. I'm assuming it's this one right here, the one that looks like orange chicken. Because there's also another like fishy plate meaty fishy thing right here,
Miso
which I can't tell.
Fish is, I don't want to say normal, but that's normal enough.
Let's see, moving garnish is bonita flake. We've talked about that earlier. Flakes are simmered, smoked, and fermented tuna, which react to steam coming from hot food, making them move.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
they are.
What they do.
I just talked about takoyaki.
Mm-hmm. Takoyaki is effing delicious.
Foods.
Try it sometime.
Easily one of my favorites. I'm a very large fan of octopus. Tentacles. I think I said squid when I talked about it initially. It's octopus inside there. Taco is octopus.
Okay, there will be a few desserts to try, including a lemon cheesecake with yuzu chantilly cream.
Sounds good.
Does this look like cheesecake to you? It looks like goth cheesecake with like Pocky sticks.
That's the other issue. Like, the food is not... The coloring also can make you... Let me phrase this properly. When you have a lemon cookie, you expect that cookie to be yellow. When you have an orange cookie, you expect that cookie to be orange. When you have an apple cookie, you usually expect it to either be green or red. We have colors we associate with food since we were basically taught, colors as a young child, and oftentimes like the red apple, the yellow banana, the blue blueberry, or whatever. And so when you change the colors up, it gets a little odd to your brain. And sometimes can even throw off the flavor because of how flavor is interpreted, because it's not an exact science on how we interpret flavor. That's why everyone's tongue's a little different. That's why some people like spicy food, and some people like sweet food, and some people like sour drinks, and some people like, more of some people like well done meat, and some people like, medium rare. And the reason for that is just on how your tongue interprets information. Now, it's because of how the cells transmit information to the brain, and what triggers happy and what triggers like ew. And the one thing I'm going to say is when you do the colors like this, it can sometimes go directly towards the ew side, just because your brain is like, oh, that's not the color that cheese is supposed to be. That's not the color that an apple is supposed to be. That's not the color a hamburger is supposed to be. And while sometimes your brain, you can kind of go over it. Like, for example, when they do like the green, hamburger patties, because it's the alien burger or whatever. Your brain knows this is just a hamburger, and half the time you're not even looking at it because you got a bun around it anyways. So it's visual initially, and then you take a bite, and that's what a burger tastes like, and yum, 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 yum. Versus if it's on a plate and you're cutting through it and putting it in your mouth, your brain's going to have a weird little side effects to it. Hopefully it won't bother that many people, but I put the feeling is people are going to be like, yeah, the dessert was kind of weird. I know it was just like a cheesecake, but it tasted off. And I'm like, it's because the coloration does not, your brain does. Cheesecake has a specific color, and you know what cheesecake looks like. And so when you see cheesecake not of that color, it affects your brain. Unless it's a chocolate cheesecake, and then you're expecting it to look like chocolate. So, because that's the expectation and how your brain interprets information. Visual is part of taste, surprisingly.
Right. Moving on to the next thing here. I'll also report one drink coming into the menu, a Hoth Frost, that came with a sugar spun ice over the top of the blue-green liquid with lemon foam. No photos here, but I'm curious.
That doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, kind of curious. Let's see. Lamplight Lounge will feature a new menu of beverages, including the Hoth Frost, Muja Twist, and other tasty delights.
Oh, so you get the boozy beverages for the parents. Oh, see, now, here's the thing. Probably an upcharge for the booze. But if it wasn't, if that was an open bar, I might be second thoughts. Because now you got drunk Jared, like, at Jedi training. And now it's hilarious. Like, get this on the Twitch-tagram for me. Fight all the Star Wars. And I'd look like Star Wars kid, and it would be hilarious. It's like, oh, look at drunk dad tries to Star Wars.
Okay, if all the space food sounds a little bit too adventurous for you, don't worry. Disney said there will be more familiar dishes on the menu as well. So I'm assuming burgers and fries for the kiddos.
Yeah, I was going to say that, like that, or pizza. And the pizza will be called, like a Coruscanti flatbread delight or something. And it's just flatbread cheese pizza. And you're like, okay, cool.
There's also food for those with less adventurous palates and dietary restrictions. Let's see.
Oh, this does not feel like the kind of thing you do if you have dietary restrictions.
Standard chicken fingers or tip-yip and fries on board.
Yeah, there you go.
Reporters have said the food on board is delicious and fun, with familiar flavors and with unique textures. One mentions a tasty matcha cheesecake. Okay. That you might see when boarding ship. Cheesecake. So like green tea. That doesn't sound too bad. I've had matcha Pocky before.
I know. I've had matcha stuff before, and I'm not super keen on it, as you've noticed. I think the only thing I've gotten that I actually kind of liked that was in the matcha family was the green tea mochi. That was generally fine. But most other desserts, like, always are a little weird. Like, even the one when I had to do the matcha shake from Knott's, I was just kind of like, I like this, I think.
All right, so you and I, we're probably not going to stay at this hotel.
No. If I had $6,000, I'm going to Japan.
Yeah, like $6,000, would rather go to Japan, would rather do Disney Seas, Universal Japan. Yeah. Check out Yokohama.
Watch a Tokyo Giants game. Because that was my friend
Go
from
to that
college's favorite
one
team.
indoor theme park that's pretty much a foodie's theme park.
Oh, yeah, that'd be awesome.
I forgot what it's called. It was just it's the indoor one with the Gundam, with one of the Gundam cafes there, or they did like a Gundam tie-in. But anywho,
Yeah, the cat place.
yes, the cat theme place. I want to go there. But anywho, like yeah, like just so y'all know. We budgeted about $2,500 to stay at Port Orleans, and that includes park tickets and just like a almost like a week-long stay at that hotel around the same time Galactic Starcruiser opens up. So like I'm okay just doing like just your standard hotel kind of experience type thing, and I like Port Orleans. It's one of our favorite
nice
hotels.
hotel,
It's one of it's become our favorite place to stay on the resort. And you and I, we were like just kind of brainstorming after watching all these Galactic Starcruiser videos on YouTube, like what we would like to see as a Star Wars hotel, because like, okay, this live interactive theater, like, okay, that ain't it. Because I want to see kind of like where there's like, I don't know, you have like 4 different sections of like a Star Wars resort. Like one building is like themed to Endor, and you have like nightly bonfires with Ewoks partying with their yub nubs and whatnot.
The big issue with that is you're going to have to hire a lot of little people, and that's not entirely easy or feasible to do, is the bigger issue.
And then you also have like this forest kind of like zone where like it kind of feels like the E.T. Q part.
What if you did, like, obviously you couldn't go up, you have several, what are mile-high trees or whatever they are in Kashyyyk, but you have like the Kashyyyk treehouse-looking things to stay in? That'd be kind of cool. Then Wookiees are a little bit easier to do, because tall people exist. And, I don't know, Wookiees. People like Wookiees.
Yeah, and then like, I know you and I were also talking about like a Naboo-themed, like, resort kind of area, kind of like if you've been to the Venetian in Las Vegas, like when you go inside you kind of have like that Naboo kind of themed like elegance, that kind of feeling, because
Naboo is based off of the nicer parts of Italy. It clearly is.
And then you have Gungan theme pool.
Yeah, and you have your silly Gungan pool for the kids. You could have the high-rise one, which is like your Coruscant type tower. You could do fun stuff with that. And then if you wanted to, you pay for the dinner show where, you know, the rebellion is fighting the Empire or whatever. And, you know, like with Star Tours, someone randomly gets picked as the spy and what have you. You can have some fun with that if you choose to. Or you could go and say, hey, I love my little Wookiee hut hotel with me and my family. Now we're going to go over to Animal Kingdom because I want to go on Kilimanjaro. And then after that, I'm going to go on the Rapids. And then after that, I'm going to go on the safari ride, and then after that I'm gonna go and eat at Tusker House, which is awesome.
Kilimanjaro is a safari ride.
Oh crud!
I think you meant to say Expedition Everest.
Everest is what I meant instead of Kilimanjaro. They're both mountains in completely different regions of the world. But yes, you know what I mean. Heck, no. First off, we went to Animal Kingdom. I went on Everest twice. I do want to point that out.
Everest in the morning, and Everest hits different at night.
Yeah.
Try it at nighttime, folks.
It's a great ride, and I love Everest. But the point is, you could do that, and then maybe you're like, okay, on night 2, we're going to go to the dinner theater so our kids can see the Rebels and whatever. Or we're going to go to the Ewok dance party where they have, some torches lit up, and it's...
Yub nub.
Is
this meat?
You can get... This meat's delicious. What animal did you say it came from again? I believe it's the line from the comic. But yeah.
Here we have Jay. Lothcat Cafe. Lothcat Cafe.
But the thing is, you could do that. Either theme it to a planet, theme it to a bunch of planets, or like my initial idea was, here's the episode 1 hotel section, the original trilogy, and yes, the new trilogy, because we have to do that because there's 5 people who like the characters from that series. And, the most popular one would probably be the OT, where you're staying in Bespin or something. And then, but there's probably tons of people who wanted the prequels because Theed is beautiful, and so you're staying in Theed, why not? And then for the sequels, you could stay in the... Oh, God, what's it called? Space Vegas? You're staying in Space Vegas. I don't remember what it's called. It doesn't matter. It's a stupid movie. Because there's no fancy-ish places. Like, each trilogy has had a fancy-ish place, except for the third one. There's no fancy places.
I just feel you need to throw, like, an Endor building in there because of Star Tours reasons.
That's true. You could do that as well. But Star Tours doesn't do the Endor Express anymore, so... Unless you somehow added that in there, that would be freaking great. Just clone the ride. It's the original ride. Paul Rubens doing the, is this your first time in a starship? Well, it's mine
Because
too.
the other thing you can do with an actual Star Wars hotel is you can have like a displays of like props and costumes from the movie. Like I'm also thinking like when you go into like the value resorts, you have like all those like selfie zones with all the giant like kitschy looking things there. Like you can also do that with a Star Wars hotel. Like,
Easily.
Yeah.
All sorts of, you could be on the battlefield, you could be in, popular planetary locations.
Posed with like various space vehicles of like different eras.
Yeah.
So I felt like this was just missed opportunity. Like I predict that like Galactic Starcruiser is probably going to be refurbed into like some sort of like fancy escape room experience.
Because the problem is the way they've designed the building. This isn't designed like a standard hotel. It's designed to be kind of like a cruise ship. I'm sure it's a couple stories tall, because cruise ships are a couple stories tall as well. But it's not going to be, the size utilized for this thing is not going to equate to the standard size resort hotel. And they're either going to have to tear the damn thing down, or they're going
probably
to have
not going to tear it down. They're probably
it would be too expensive to start from scratch. But I'm saying that their options are either tear it down, start from scratch, or build up and around it to build like an actual set of buildings.
Because they're also trying to shoehorn Galactic Starcruiser into current Star Wars media. I know like it's been around since the High Republic. You know that series that no one's reading?
That I thought was canceled. Apparently not. It's still kind of there, I guess, for those 3 readers. But it's one of those things where, they're going to try to shoehorn it into places, which they also did with Batu, just not as well, because there's like one Timothy Zahn book and then another random book and then like something for kids, a comic or something. And coolsies versus, had that been their base in episode 9, not that that's a good movie, but at least they're there.
At least tie it in.
Tie it in somehow. The Mandalorian could have gone there. It's like, I got to refuel. I guess I have to stop by Batu. Oh no, bad guys. Pew, pew, pew.
Gotta get the knick-knack that I need to get at Batu before like moving on to the next planet in the next episode, because that's our formula, people. I like Mandalorian,
or we can maybe hide here and I can keep, Grogu safe for a couple days while I get some repairs to my ship. You had options there of having an episode where they go to Naboo. 2 seasons, 0 trips to Naboo. They could have put Naboo into the final season of the Clone Wars. They could have put Naboo into Bad Batch. They could have... Not Naboo.
I was going to say.
Dang it, stupid planet names. Batu. Batu could have been in the Bad Batch. Could have been in Rebels. Not Rebels, because it was way before. Clone Wars, the final season. It could have been in Mandalorian. It's in a couple of books and comics, and if you blink, you'll miss it. Or if you're someone like me who gave up on the books and comics a long time ago, you're not really ever going to know that backstory stuff, so you're just kind of always out of the loop. And it's not like the backstory stuff's really worth knowing. It's, there's some spy lady, and I guess the Hutt did something in the past, and okay. Versus when they were promoting it, they were talking about how there's going to be this story going on. There was going to be very Ghost Town Alive, for those who know Knott's Berry Farm near us. Every summer, they do a thing called Ghost Town Alive, where the Ghost Town section of the park, you have the blacksmith, and the sheriff, and the teacher, and the laundry guy, and they're all there doing their thing, and then you got the bank robbers come by, and you can have some you can interact with the story, being part of the sheriff's posse when stopping the bank robbers, or, be there while the town crier is telling you about, the bank was robbed. You have little moments where you can be involved in the story to a small degree. You're not, grabbing a gun and shooting the criminals, but you're there if the sheriff helping him get them to surrender. Or when usually they've had like town votes over things, you get to be part of the town voting. So there's definitely things like that they did. But here's the thing. If I'm tired of the story, or, oh man, there's not that many people on Silver Bullet right now, I can go and do a ride and then come back and go, I missed the bank robbery part. Yeah, it's okay. It's not like I ruined my entire day. I could take an entire day and focus purely on Ghost Town Alive and doing the side quests and stuff. Or I could dip in and out of the story as I go on different rides and, just have my day like a normal park visitor. This is trying to force you into a 2-day-long version of that, which, look, I enjoy Old West type stuff. I've been to the Old West, the ghost towns that have like everyone is the characters. Anyone who saw the South Park thing where they tap the sign, stay in character, I've been to those places and they were a lot of fun when I was a kid. And as an adult, I still generally enjoy those kinds of things just because it feels like I'm a time traveler or whatever. Same thing like Renaissance Fair, same thing. you feel like you're a time traveler, or you can pretend that you're part of the same era or whatever. And while conceivably this would be fun for a thing to do in Batuu, or a thing to do as like a little like, oh, for the next 3 hours at the Star Wars hotel, you can be part of this rebel mission or whatever, that would be fine. Having it consume my entire weekend or what have you, and then having to be at places at specific times. I'm
what
sure.
If I want to sleep in, or what if I end up sleeping in? What happens?
Yeah. What if I don't want to go... What if I am prone to migraines? What happens when a migraine hits? Do I just suddenly miss out on a huge chunk of the events? It's like, oh yeah, you can stay in your room, but you're going to miss out on the stuff you just paid $6,000 for. Have fun. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Versus, with my season pass to Knott's, if I have a migraine, we'll go tomorrow. And if my Disneyland trip, if I have a Disney World trip, if I have a migraine, I take pills and I'm completely drugged out for most of the day.
Or we just take a quick 1 hour nap at the hotel and we just get back on our feet.
Yeah. I don't think I had a migraine last time we went.
No, you did not. We just
felt
tired.
That was a surprise. I did feel tired, yeah, but I never had a migraine, which was just luck.
Because I think you and I were both surprised as how large each of the parks are.
Yes, they are huge. And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel like I'm a kid again. I like how we're getting off topic over and over again, but the point I'm trying to make with the hotel is I don't feel like this is an experience I would enjoy. Now, if I was going there as a reporter, if my fees were being paid by my magazine or newspaper or whatever, then sure, because this is me as a reporter. This is now it's my job to then go and say, okay, at 6:00 we went to dinner. It was a da-da-da-da-da. The food was da-da-da-da-da. The singer was okay, but hey, the makeup job was really nicely done. It looked like an actual alien, not a human. 8:00 went and did the lightsaber training. It was like playing a bad AR game. Okay, sure, I could do that, but I think as a vacation, I try to either have new experiences or relax. And for me, I would rather, go on the Rock and Roller Coaster, go on Tower of Terror, eat at what was the Mom's Kitchen? Not Mom's Kitchen. What was it?
50s Primetime.
50s Primetime Diner, where we have we had Sassy Waitress. I loved Sassy Waitress.
Yeah, our buddy wants to just check that place out again. So yeah, we're
due
to
what was it called, the rerun? I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, we're overdue for a trip. Let's just double check to make sure that our faves and the things that we want to try out are still on the menu.
I was recommended that a sampler plate thing. It's called like a rerun or the leftovers or something like that. And it was recommended to me. So it's like, next time you go, you have to have that and review that. I'm like, all right, cool, I'll do it. So I will. I did promise I would do that to whoever talked to me about that park. And yeah, that's on the list. I think it would have the meat. No, the fried chicken, didn't I? Oh,
the fried chicken. Yes.
That was good. Southern fried chicken made by actual Southerners is wonderful. No offense to actually other than Knott's. Knott's is also really great. But I've been to some other places in not the South that don't quite do fried chicken right.
All right. Take us away, Jay.
I hope this has given you a taste of what to expect on the cruiser. I think a lot of this is more,
feels very Instagrammable food.
There's a lot of Instagrammable food there, and I was gonna say for the majority of us, window shopping is the wrong word, but this is just kind of staring in the window, going what the heck is going on in there? We're kind of having that moment, an outside looking in thing, without feeling like we're missing out. I know there's gonna be some FOMO addicts who are gonna be in a position of looking at this, going I need to do this, and I think the rest of us are looking at this, going you know what? If this was $1,000. $500? I might do this. If this was just a themed hotel and I could see the props and, shop at the Theed shopping district or whatever, yeah, sure, why not? I'm not the biggest Star Wars person, but if they have a bunch of original trilogy and prequel stuff, I'd check it out. But for this, yeah, it's not worth it. And too bad, because I wanted to apply to be the captain, so...
All right.
I wouldn't have gotten the job, but it would have been a fun application process.
So just to pique your curiosity, the plate at 50's Primetime Diner is called A Sampling of Mom's Favorite Recipes, and that's going for $26.
It's not what the person said it was called when I heard about it.
Who knows? It probably changed the name.
They could have changed the name. Like I said, it was called the rerun or the leftovers or something like that. I mean, maybe it's not a sampler plate. Maybe it's something else. But
And I got a ton of dessert items I want to check out. So, yeah, we're looking forward to our trip to Florida. Yeah, April. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
It won't be as hot as when we went in August.
And like with any new Disney thing opening, like today with Genie, what was it, like Park Genie Plus?
Genie Plus or whatever.
That failed hard today, and it just look at Twitter, like just look at people's comments about like Disney's Game Genie for the parks. Like no, thank you.
Because here's the thing: when that was announced at D23, 2-3 years ago, whatever it was when we went, I was like, that sounds terrible. I don't know why they would make this. And then they made it. And then it turned out to be terrible. And I hate being Mr. Prediction Man, because when I heard about this hotel, I'm like, this sounds really bad. It's going to be shut down in 2 years. And I still going to stand by that. So we'll see in 2020, at the end of 2023, 2024-ish. If it does shut down, then I was right. But it's kind of unfortunate because they have this wonderful IP and Disney just has mismanaged it horribly and has no idea what to do with it. And it's really kind of sad to watch something I loved as a kid die very slowly. But yay, I'm ending it on a downer.
Remember to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. It's in that category wherein the good news is there's plenty of other stuff to do in the Florida resort where you could never go to this and you're still going to have tons of stuff to do if you're visiting. Was it 4 parks, all of which are almost as large as each other, and with a ton of different things to do and see and experience. And I think at least we have that, and I hope that this is a lesson learned by the company, because the sheer amount of people quitting their or canceling their trips and things like that is already a sign of they have done this wrong. And look, if they fix it, if they make it a little cheaper, and people come back and say, oh no, it's really wonderful, they did this, this, and this, I'm open ears. I'm not going to be Mr. Oh, I will never go on this. But as it stands now, even if I was rich, I'd probably look at this and go, I could spend my money and go to Japan, I could go to Brazil, I could go to Europe, I could go to
or if we're going to Disney World, we could like
Canada.
just opt for a higher tier resort.
Yeah, I could go to the Riviera. We have options. So from my perspective, hopefully they do something and fix this, or hopefully it just shuts down and we all pretend this never happened. Either way, I'll be happy. But for now, we'll just keep watching this very, very slow train wreck. Yay. The good news is there's still plenty of Christmas foods for me to eat, which is always great.
Knots on Sunday.
Yes.
Wait. And we got some videos to post because we just got a new editing machine. Fix a sound issue on Twitch finally.
The most important part. So we definitely have a lot of those kind of things going on, which is something definitely to look forward to. If you have not subscribed to the Eat the Magic channel on YouTube, or are not obviously following the channel here, please do so, because we're always going to have new commentary about park things. We're always going to have commentary on food. And, we like to have a little bit of fun and joke around. Other than that, we have ways of supporting the channel, including a Ko-Fi, where you can essentially give a recommendation for me what to eat and basically buy me a snack or a dinner or an alcoholic beverage. Whatever you want, I will try it as long as I'm not allergic to it.
And gift giving season is here, so you can also support the channel by using our code EAT15 to get 15% off your order at Magic Candle Company.
And they have some awesome options, whether you like food-scented candles, ride-scented candles. They have a little bit of everything from Disney and from Universal, so you have plenty of options. Definitely something if you have a nostalgic feeling with a family member over a specific ride or specific food, especially for a parent or something, it might really warm their heart to have something along those lines.
Okay, that's it for the show.
Yeah, thank you for watching, and until next time, remember,
eat the magic.